Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Sunday Night Showdown series here at Lucas Oil Indianapolis Raceway Park. Excited for this one tonight. I think it's going to put on a great show. It's going to be exciting, really close door-to-door racing. Not a whole lot of room for these drivers to fight for out on the track. And I think we're going to see some drivers come out of here with either a good night or a bad night, depending on who we talk to at the end of this race. We are just moments away from getting this race underway, as we are currently finishing up gridding. We'll go down the starting lineup in just a moment. And again, welcome in to Lucas Oil Indianapolis Raceway Park. I am Oscar Jensen. I will be your commentator for tonight. As these trucks start to get ready and these drivers get set, I think we can all say that from last time when we talked with these drivers, there's a few drivers who were optimistic about tonight and a few that weren't so much. So depending on who you are, you're either really looking forward to this race or maybe not so much. Let's go ahead and go down this starting lineup. And row number one, we have Austin Edstrom. And Reed Schaefer. Row number two, Stoney Benfield. Joseph Kazi. Row 3 will be Caleb Weekly, Justin Levine. Then row number 4 will be Aaron Kay and Jordan Berry. Number 5 will head back and we'll go on to Jim Foskett and Ron Hollyfield. Directly behind them in row number 6 will be Jason Miz and Jose Gonzalez. Row number 7 will be Derek Garrison and Bryce Shoemaker. Then we go on to row 7 with Max Cost and Justin Day. And then what will be running up the field is Reese Hamilton and Keith Shoemaker and Brian Portman. Race analysis tonight will be 200 laps. Stage 1 will be at lap 100, and then our final stage will also be 100 laps. Pit road speed 40 miles an hour, 5 sets total, 4 behind the wall for these drivers to change, and then a field window of about 90 to 98 laps. So we'll more than likely be able to get this first stage on just one stop. Pace truck is going to pull off. We'll go ahead and get these guys all set as Austin Edstrom will lead the field to green. Green flag, we're off and away. Reese Schaefer taking the lead early on. Joseph Kazi, Justin Levine right there in second and third. That's going to move Austin Edstrom back to fourth position on that bottom lane. He's going to have to settle down in the fourth for now, as we got a spin back there. I think that's Jason Miz. And he's going to bring out the first caution of the night. Now, it's kind of one of these tracks where you'll have to be easy on the throttle, especially coming off the exit. And I'm pretty sure that's what happened to this 9 truck. He might have had some help, but I'm pretty sure it looked like he might have just throttled down too much coming off the exit. we have to go all the way back here through 3. And yeah, running a little bit lower. And it looks like just got kind of where the racetrack isn't really a racetrack. I mean, you can kind of use a little bit further down if we slow it down just a bit. You see, he's already entering really low and well below like what the preferred groove is, and right here is when he goes below this yellow line onto like the apron, we'll call it, and there's really no grip there, and when he got back on the throttle it just looped around and a little tap to that inside wall. Doesn't look like there's really a lot of damage though. I think he just really tapped it, maybe have scratched off some of the paint from that nose, but not anything significant that would impede his race for the time being. So an early little spin, that's going to set us up for our first caution here early on. And now, this is a good time to talk about a little weather display here. It's 77 out right now. Partly cloudy, track temp is 79 degrees. And why this is important is the fact that it's actually going to kind of be a transition into the morning. So we're starting off in the early AMs of the morning right now. Let's see if we can get an exact time. It's about 4:30 a.m. in sim right now, and we'll be finishing this race probably in the early morning, about 7-ish, maybe around there. So it's gonna be a different transition from what these drivers are used to, where we either go from like a early afternoon to late afternoon, or late afternoon into the evening. It's going to be a early morning into a later morning, so a little unique time setup for these drivers. We'll see if that plays into effect for any of this race. Back up front though, Reese Schaefer is going to lead the way on this restart. Into the restart zone we go. Green flag back in the air. Schaefer with a good restart there, able to put distance between he and Edstrom by about a truck length. Joseph Kazi there in third place, working a little bit lower, trying to get some clean air on the front end of that race truck. Single file mostly for the time being, not really a lot of side-by-side racing, and I think that really has to do with just trying to understand the track, trying to get a feel for it. Edstrom now getting a little bit more pressure from Joseph Kazi behind him for this second position. I think the biggest thing right now is to not use up your tires too much. I mean, there's going to be a chance later in this run for you to try and explore. This track is actually really unique and interesting. You're not really running low, you're running a little bit higher up towards that wall, up in that second to third position, or third groove, and it gets difficult when you get later into this run and everybody's really running a little bit higher up, way up against that wall, and you can't really pass as good. So that's when you'll kind of see people use the bumper a bit, and then also when mistakes are made more frequently because you got people trying to send it in, as Kazi's leaning on Edstrom right now, coming off of 2. So you'll see people try and send it in underneath, trying to slide up in front of them. Kazi and Edstrom still side by side for the time being, leading off one of another. I think Kazi should be able to get Edstrom here the next half a lap, but he's not able to clear him here. And not quite. I think Kazi will be able to clear him if he's... There we go. So Kazi able to clear in front of Edstrom. Edstrom trying to fight back on the inside, but Kazi's going to have the preferred lane here in 1 and 2. And now, here comes Justin Levine in this yellow 19 truck, trying to make it a three-way battle. He's going to put some pressure on Edstrom now. Edstrom's going to have to defend off this third position. Edstrom struggling just a little bit. He's kind of... I don't think he's really comfortable with his truck quite yet. You see him working this truck a little bit harder than Justin Levine and Joseph Kazi. Levine going to lean tight on the door. Edstrom trying to get all the position, maybe a little bit of wall right there. And that's what you need to do at a track like this. You don't want to directly run them into the wall, but you want to run them up a little bit higher. The only time that would really bite you back, though, is if you give somebody too big of a nudge and give them an issue that would send them back in this field or damage the race truck, and that's usually when we see tempers start to rise up. Jason Miz trying to rebound after that early spin. Fighting with Jim Foskett here for 15th. He's going to slide underneath, and he should be able to clear off too. Just in front of them is Justin Day in this black and blue Bang Energy truck. New look for him this week. We haven't really heard too much from Justin Day this season. He's been here and there. He's gotten a few decent finishing, but hasn't had the start of the year that he probably would have wanted. And now I know from hearing from things that he's had to say, it hasn't been really his type of schedule so far. And I think as we get later into the season, there will be some races that will definitely play into the hands of Justin Day. Now back up front, Reese Schaefer and Joseph Kazi have pulled away from Justin Levine and Austin Edstrom. Joseph Kazi has about, I'd say about 2 to 3 truck lengths of a difference between Schaefer, the current race leader, and these two have been kind of going at it each and every week these past couple of weeks. Right, Shoemaker, Max Cost, switching positions here. Right, Shoemaker will move himself into ninth. Max Cost will now have to defend off Derek Garrison. And now in this, about 30 laps into this run, I think this is when we're going to see some drivers start to really struggle with their trucks if they haven't already. It's not really, it's not super early into a run, but it's also not super late, if that makes any sense to anybody out there, but it's kind of hard to explain. It's that sort of transition stage to where if you push too early, you're definitely going to start to notice it now. And if you saved and were able to keep your truck pretty intact, you should be able to start coming to life now. Obviously, it's going to really depend on where you started in this field. So if you started a little bit further back, you might have a little bit more difficult time trying to move up if your game plan was to save tire. And now it's not going to be the end of the world. It's just you're going to have to spend a little bit more time here in this first stage trying to make up some grounds so that you set yourself up for the last part of this race in those last 100 laps. Max Cost, Aaron K here going for this 10th position. And this 10th position might not mean a whole lot at the end of this thing, but at the end of this stage, at lap 100, they'll be getting some playoff points if you're in the top 10. So right now, Max Cost sitting in a pretty much a good position. He's just going to need to be able to hold on to this position for a little while longer, and a little while longer is going to be pretty far away, but as long as he can keep his truck clean and intact and not over push any boundaries, I think he should be able to hang on to this 10th position and maybe even chase down the 2 drivers in front of him. I think the really interesting thing right now that we're back focused on the race lead is these two have not pulled away from one another. They haven't really, Kazi hasn't closed in, Schaefer hasn't pulled away. They've kind of kept the difference the same. And I'm not quite sure if that's just these two being equal speed or if maybe they're matching each other's pace, kind of based off of not maybe getting their full, but just enough to where they can kind of cruise away. I know these two drivers are really good at these long run places, and if they're able to continue under a green flag. I think there'll definitely be a battle between which one of these drivers is able to find a little bit more clean air than the other one. And right ahead of these two drivers, we start to see lap traffic come into play. That's Keith Shoemaker and Jim Foskett. Those two drivers are respectable 18 and 19. I'm really interested to hear from these drivers after the race and see what the truck is doing. I mean, we started off at about, I think I said 4:30. It's almost 5 a.m. So half an hour has passed. Not a whole lot of time difference, but as I say, we get a caution. I'm not quite sure who. Looks like this is the 7 of Jordan Berry. I was saying, I'm kind of interested to hear from these drivers and see if it handles any different with this transition going from a super early into a later morning. And it really doesn't look like there's as many handling issues right now. I think it's what it looks like is that they're possibly dealing with a little bit loose conditions, but not as loose as it might normally be. We'll have to figure out if that is the case at the end of the race. So take a look at Jordan Berry and see what happened with his race truck. Racing Caleb Weekly. Oh, looks like Weekly hit the wall. And unfortunately, Jordan Berry being right underneath trying to race and pass Weekly just had nowhere to go and got slingshotted in towards that inside wall, and that's going to hurt his run. He was running pretty decent before that too. It wasn't that bad of a start for him, so this is definitely gonna probably hurt him a bit, and I don't know if it would ruin his night realistically, but it probably does hurt a bit knowing that you're up there and unfortunately just not the right place there. Wrong place, wrong time. So as we get the field set up once again, it's going to be a little bit of a interesting strategy call from some of these drivers. Looks like the top three have stayed out. That being Derek Garrison, Bryce Shoemaker, Jordan Berry. Jordan Berry obviously just going for that spin, so I'm a little surprised that he stayed out, but you know what? It's good. I think it's a good strategy call. I mean, you'll have an extra set of tires than the rest of the guys behind you later on if you need it. We're gonna have to watch out and see if there is any tire spin from these top three. Otherwise, Derek Harrison's gonna lead him around into the restart zone. Green flag in the air. Oh, a little bit of tire spin there. That was Jordan Berry. Oh, and Justin Levine gets tagged. Oh. Excuse me. Justin Levine tagged just a bit. And that's going to collect some other trucks as well. I hit the wrong button there. Apologies, folks. But we saw it pretty much happen. I mean, it kind of goes back to staying out on those older tires, and Jordan Berry just trying to get the power down on the restart, not quite able to make it stick, and going into turn 1 and 2, kind of stacked up the field a bit, and then it looks like he washed up maybe a little bit and tagged Justin Levine, which then sent him around in front of the field. We'll take a look at it though. So really, we got to look at this from Jordan Berry's standpoint. I mean, we'll ride on board with him here. Let's see if we can go find the camera. So right here, I mean, I was wondering if it was going to happen in the restart zone. Those hot tires, not able to make it stick, and washed up a bit. Tried to keep it off Levine, just not enough room there. We'll take a look at it again, right? So already called. Oh, it looks like he actually got a bump from Edstrom as well. So I mean, really, I wouldn't blame that too much on anybody. It's kind of just one of those things where, you know, the driver in front of you is stayed out on 47 lap older tires and just spun out as well. So those tires definitely not having the grip that they'll need on this restarter. Great job there by Derek to hang on. But unfortunately for guys a little bit further back, like Max Cost and Justin Levine, just nothing you could really do. We'll see if this restart goes a little bit better for these drivers who have stayed out. Jordan Berry still has yet to come to pit road. He's going to be in that outside lane, road number 4. We'll keep an eye on him. Back up front though, Derek Garrett, or excuse me, Reese Schaefer, Bryce Shoemaker, green flag in the air. Kazi making quick work on the outside of Shoemaker to get around for that second position. Jordan Berry with a much better restart this time. He's going to stick to the outside of Jason Miz there. That's Weekly all the way up against that wall, trying to make up some spots. Saw him get involved in that caution a few moments ago. Had a little bit of right side damage, but able to keep it underway. Truck all the way up against that wall, trying to find some speed and some room to get around the trucks in front of him. That's Jordan Berry. Again, a little bit older tires. If you're the 9 truck, you just kind of got to be patient. I know it's not ideal to be behind a truck on 40-ish lap older tires than you are, but so far doing a good job at not running over that 7 truck, and now he's going to work through the inside and try and get this position away. Derek Garrison, another one of those trucks who has yet, a little bit of a nudge there from Weekly. I was going to say he's another one of those trucks who has those older tires that actually got some heavy right rear damage from that. It looks like that right side maybe pushed up a bit. Not quite sure. We'll see if we can take a look. Actually, it looks pretty fine from that angle. Kind of hard to tell with the dark blue and it being so dark out right now. It's kind of, it does look like there is some right side damage. It doesn't look as bad as I thought it was initially, but definitely not going to help that truck with handling. And that was nothing of Derek's fault. I think, again, these guys around them are able to get a little bit quicker into these corners with those newer tires, and I think that was just a little bit of a mistake there by Weekly to get into the back of Garrison. Being 8th place currently, trying to work his way up through the field after that contact from Barry sent him around in front of the field. You see, he opted to not take that one fast repair that we have. It looks like he still has a little bit of right front damage. I think there is still a little bit of left rear damage as well. And yeah, you're able to see it just a minute later. It's caved in a little bit on the left rear, but not stopping him. He's up to 6th. Shoemaker getting pressure from Jim Foskett for this 9th position, or this 8th position. That's going to put Bryce back to 9th. So right now, Bryce and Derek, they're on 66 lap old tires, so haven't pitted yet in this race. The only one who hasn't as well is directly behind him. That's Jordan Berry, although Jordan Berry, I'm not quite sure how his tires are looking. I mean, he is running right there with those two other guys, but he has had a spin on those tires, so we'll see if this is going to work out for those three, although they have a hungry group of drivers directly behind them. That's Aaron Kay, Reese Hamilton, and Stoney Benfield, all trying to get around these guys. Max Cost right there as well. Jordan Berry, hard contact. He's gonna hold the brakes and tow it back around there, it looks like. So Jordan Berry gets a little bit of a nudge right there. Hard contact with that inside wall. Back up under the track. Take a look at it here. We're riding on board with it as well. So we saw it from the Ford truck of Hamilton, I believe it was. Oh boy, it looks like, I think that's the 37 of Aaron K. I'm not quite sure. Yeah, we'll have to go back a little bit. I mean, it looks like he might have... It looks like he got... We'll have to... I'm not quite sure if he got loose or if maybe he just hit the wall and bounced off a bit. I'm on board with him here. Yeah, that's... Looks like he just got a bit loose and tried to collect it, and unfortunately just Jordan Berry. Take a look at it one more time. Jordan Berry, wrong place, right there. Not any of his doing. He did a good job at... Oh, I'm not sure if he actually hit the wall, the inside wall. I initially thought he did. It sounded like it, but I guess not. Either way, though, he decided to bring it back behind the wall and call it a night. So Jordan Berry will be the first DNF of the night. Back up front, Reese Schaefer and Joseph Cossey. They're going to lead the field to green. Green flag in the air. We're off and racing once again from Lucas Oil. Side by side here for the time being for second place. Cossey able to get around Schaefer there. Schaefer now has Edstrom all over his back bumper. Part in the top 5. We'll have to go all the way back to about 6th, 7th, 8th position. That's Jim Foskett on the outside of Aaron K. Aaron K on the inside. Almost had another incident right there after 2. Aaron K working a little bit lower than Jim Foskett, trying to slide up off the exit. It'll work though for Aaron K. So Aaron K will move himself into the 8th position, as Stoney Benfield now is going to lean on Jim Foskett for this 9th position.
able to get around Bosket there. Jeff Bosket now sits in that 10th position, and that's going to be the hot seat for the time being. Eric Harrison directly behind, still has yet to pit. He is now on the 81 lap old tires. Reese Hamilton's gonna try and dive low, not making it stick though. Edstrom getting to the outside of Schaefer. Edstrom now is going to have that outside preferred lane. We'll see if he can make the most of it and hold off Schaefer. And really what Schaefer has to do is just not overuse that bottom side and send himself around. And realistically, if Schaefer wanted to, he could probably run a little bit harder on that bottom side. I don't know if he's wanting to though. He could just be trying to settle in and pull off his tires a bit and then try and make another run at Edstrom here in a couple of laps. But right now, Edstrom's going to hang on to that second position as Joseph Gossi has pulled away from the field from about a second. Jose Gonzalez, and I think this is his first start. He is in 4th position in this bright orange white 11 machine, looking really good right now. He's applying pressure to the back bumper of Schaefer, so if you're one of these drivers who hasn't heard of this 11 truck of Jose Gonzalez, you'll probably be hearing a lot more of him if he continues up these runs, because he is making a good first impression right now. Here in the field, Bryce Shoemaker having this 10th position, which would be the last spot to play out with these playoff points at the stage end. It's starting to heat up just a bit. I mean, Derek Garrison, Bryce Shoemaker, those two drivers have been kind of right in this last spot. Oh, as we have a stack up right in front of them. That's Benfield's around. And Shoemaker also around, getting a piece of that. I think Justin Day might have gotten in that as well. And just as we were talking about them being in prime position, it changes just like that. Benfield going to bring it down pit road immediately to try and get some of that damage fixed. Other drivers also involved looked like may have been the 9 of Jason Miz as well. We'll take a look here. Oh, so a little bit of contact there from Reese Hamilton under the right rear of Stony Benfield.
I'm not quite sure if Benfield might have misjudged that or not. See if we can see from a different view. So definitely lost a little bit of exit speed, and that's a hard one to call. I mean, if we go back here, entering turns 1 and 2, definitely has a good entry, and right about here is, I think he might have gotten a bit loose, lost some speed, and that allowed Hamilton to get to the outside. And I don't know. I mean, it's pretty hard to blame either driver there. I mean, it looks like they kind of just came together, and unfortunately for those two drivers, both getting some significant damage there. Yeah, Justin Day also getting collected in that. And I think Bryce Shoemaker might have gotten the most damage from that incident, actually. So as we're gonna get the green flag with just a handful of laps to go in this first stage, who's gonna hang on to the lead, who's gonna get lap points, and who's not? Green flag in the air. Kazi with a great start. 3 wide behind them. Schaefer all the way down there using that bottom lane. Actually using the apron as well. Still remaining 3 wide. Schaefer all the way down there. Oh, Schaefer around. And caution's gonna come out for that. And that's kind of one of those spots where you're trying to use as much of the track as you can to make up some position. And unfortunately, I just think it kind of bit him right there, and try to get the power down, and just the truck did not want to stick. Yeah, it looks like he just hit that apron maybe in the wrong spot and try to get the power down. Nobody really around him, just around he goes, and that's going to bring out our caution here. So a very interesting time for this caution. I'm not quite sure if they've called the stage and from that caution or not, but we have still a really interesting mix of drivers on different tires. Our current race leader in this 11 truck, Jose Gonzalez, he's on 53 lap old tires. The about 5 to 6 guys behind him from second to, I think, looking at this 6th place, have about 7 lap older tires, and then everybody behind them is had just made their pit stop. So there is definitely a little bit of tire strategy going on here. Not really sure if it's gonna make this big of a difference right now, but it will definitely be interesting to see how this plays out for these drivers.
And we've seen it once already. These older tires have caused issues. We'll see if this 11 truck can hang on to it. And I think we are going to have I think that one stage possibly. We'll see. Green flag in the air. We're off in racing once again. Justin Day got a little bit of damage right there. I think he got a little bit of contact from some of these drivers around him. And Gonzalez is getting chewed up through this pack really quick. He's going to fall back to 8th position. Jason Miz is going to take the race lead. Schaefer is going to go in 2nd for the time being. Kazi in 3rd. Then you have side-by-side battle here for 4th position between Edstrom and Weekly. I think Weekly had to lift out the throttle there just a bit, so he's going to lose that and now get pressure from cost him. And in the distance, you can see that sun start to come up over the horizon. Current time in sim is 5:56 a.m. And now caution. And that's Justin Day who's around at lap 105. So a rough restart for Justin Day, and it's going to get even worse as he goes around off 4. That's definitely gonna throw a wrench in his night. I mean, it's not any significant damage, but he was only on 14 lap tires there, and I know not really after that whole restart he's probably not feeling too great under the helmet. Take a look at it again. It looks like he was just trying to stay off of the 47 of Jim Foskett. I mean, not really trying to put Jim or himself in a bad position. Unfortunately, a little bit of a slide, tried to hang on to it, then got tapped with Bryce Shoemaker from 54, and around he goes into that inside wall. Take a look at it one more time. Yeah, I mean he was just in a slide right there off of 4, trying to get the power down. Did a good job at keeping it off of Jim Foskett, but unfortunately, Shoemaker right behind him, just not enough room or time to keep off of the back of the 24 truck. And fortunately, Justin Day, again, after a rough restart a few moments ago, he's gonna not have things go his way once again. With Schaefer out front and Jason Miz behind.
I have a good feeling that these two drivers are going to be able to hang on to their position. There's a little bit of a tire difference between them and that second row of Kazi and Edstrom, but it's only about 6 lap difference, so not really anything significant that would really hurt either one of them on this front row on this restart. But you never know. We'll definitely pay attention and see if there is any real advantage as they work their way through 3 and 4 to take the green flag once again. Schaefer is going to lead them around into the restart zone. Green flag in the air. Schaefer with a good start. Kazi with a great start as well. He's going to apply pressure to Schaefer on that inside lane. Jason Miz going to be trying to defend off 3rd place now from Austin Edstrom, as Caleb Weekly as well says, I want part of this as well. Nine truck getting a little bit on the wall right there. That's going to hurt him just a bit. That's going to allow Weekly to get a little bit more distance on him. But I think we got something going on back here. The 26 and the 47, no caution yet. Oh, and there's going to have to be a caution for this because leaders are going to be coming up here in just a moment. No caution out. A little bit of a late caution right there. A good job by those drivers, though, to get out of the way best they could. That was Ron Hollyfield and Jim Foskett. We'll take a look. A little bit further back in the field. Oh, I'm not quite sure. Let's see. Oh, it started up here with Jim and Aaron K. So it looks like Jim might have overdriven the corner a bit. Got into the back of Aaron K. And then just a little bit of a chain reaction behind. And Justin Day also got some damage from that incident. Hollyfield then, not quite sure if he meant to back up into Foskett, but either way, the leader's coming around. A good job at least pulling that down off the racing surface. So good job by that team and spotter to tell them that the leaders were coming and try and get out of the way as quick as they could. We'll take a look at it again from Jim Foskett's standpoint. I mean, it looks like he just really overdrove that. I'm not quite sure exactly if there was any intent to that, but he definitely did overdrive that a bit. And it does look like he at least did try and lock it up and minimize damage, but unfortunately I do think that caused a little bit more damage from behind. And yeah, it collected, unfortunately, a few trucks. Jim Foskett, Justin Days, Tony Benfield, Ron. I'm not quite sure if Benfield was actually involved in that too much, but Ron Hollyfield was also involved in that, so at least 4 to 5 trucks in that incident right there. So trucks once again lined up, ready to get under green flag conditions. This time it's Schaefer, Kazi, Jason Miz, Edstrom, and Weekly, your top 5. In through 3 and 4, heading into the restart zone. Green flag, back out. We're under racing once again. A little bit more tame this restart. Leading off each other further back. Caleb Weekly, Max Cost. And Justin Levine, after getting in an incident in that first stage, he's worked himself back up to 4th position. Trying to get 3rd from Austin Edstrom. These two side by side, leaning off one another in 3 and 4. And again, that's just part of the racing here at this type of track. You don't have a lot of room to work with, and you kind of got to use up another truck to pass. And like they say, sometimes it's a little bit easier to use 8 tires up. Just Levine did exactly that. Just gave him a little bit of a nudge, you know, nothing too hurtful. Just kind of said, hey, I'm a little bit quicker, and this is exactly how I need to get by, and the favor can always be returned if you're Edstrom. So in that case, you know, you don't want to take it too far, but you can always give him a little bit of love back. Right on board here with Levine. These top 3 drivers kind of all running their own similar line, but just a little bit different. You saw Kazi try and run a little bit shallow there that turn. Now Levine also going to follow that. And that's really just, oh, Levine with a big slide right there. It's really going to hurt those tires if you have too many of those types of slides, but you're also having to try and get clean air off the front nose of these race trucks, so you don't want to directly follow the truck in front of you. You want to kind of figure out some way to get some clean air on that nose, but not hurt your tires too much. And caution is out once again. This time it's Reese Hamilton who is around in 3 and 4. And that is some heavy damage to that race truck. Missing its rear end right there, and it looks like it is smoking a bit. See what exactly happened with him here. And that might have just been had some heavy braking, too much braking, too heavy braking into that turn, and unless there was some sort of lockup, but I really didn't see any sign of that. See if we can get another. I mean, it doesn't really look like he had any issues going through 1 and 2. See what happens on the onboard. Oh, yeah, that's definitely a unique incident right there. Oh, okay, so it looks like he did lose his rear right here. I'm not quite sure if that had anything to do. It might have, honestly. I mean, it could have broken something when he hit the wall, and he was already committed to the corner, and something might have just broken under that race truck. Either way, that was a heavy hit, and he was running pretty good as well. So that's, I'm not quite sure if he has a fast repair or not. I think he does, but either way, that's a heavy hit for Reese Hamilton there. So more drivers playing a little bit of a strategy right there. Some drivers elected to come down pit road. Causey, however, stayed out with just Levine, who is outside. We'll see how this works for them. 36 laps on the tires, green flag in the air. We're off and away once again. From around, and he's gonna collect some other drivers as well. So another quick caution. This time, it's a little bit different. I think there was maybe a little bit of contact going into turn 1 and 2. Oh no, he just got it again. I'm not quite sure if there's drivers having brake issues or if it's just older tires on the heat cycles, but hopped on the brakes and just it looped around, and unfortunately
slid up, collected weekly, Miz, Hamilton.
Not quite sure if any other drivers got any damage. See the 26 back there as well. Ron Hollyfield, I don't think he got any damage though. A little bit of a bump right there in the back bumper of Aaron K from Jim Foskett, trying to avoid that wreck, but you see, I mean, it's just when you're, we'll ride on board with Miz here, but it looks like just too much braking right around in front of Miz and nowhere for him to go. So as the morning starts to show, the incidents start to rise, and
that's the second one in a row that we've had for issues under braking. Not quite sure if that has to do with anything with the track changing or not, but something to keep an eye on here.
Levine Kazi again will lead us to the green flag.
Kazi on the inside, Levine on the outside, green flag in the air. Here comes Schaefer in that 17 truck. He's got a little bit
Fresher tires than the two in front of him.
See if he can make up some time on that outside lane, as he'll get second place away for the time being. And now he's going to set his sights on Kazi for the top position.
And caution is out once again. And Jason Miz again is around. Jim Foskett there as well,
collected in that.
Let's go ahead and see this
incident in our replay. Oh, again, another. Okay, so this one is not exactly what we've seen. This kind of looks like the trucks in front of Edstrom may have braked a little bit sooner than what he was thinking and kind of just started a chain reaction. Miz a little bit late on the brakes, and around he goes, trying to keep it off the truck in front of him. Benfield might have a little bit right front damage as well from that, but Jim Foskett, yet again, unfortunately nowhere to go. Yeah, Miz is not expecting that
Quick of a break into turn 3 and 4, and just sent the back end around.
Alright, these guys getting lining back up, and that sun is definitely now in full effect as it starts to come up. And that could be an issue for some of these drivers going through turn 1 and 2. I'm not quite sure if it will be a big difference right now. I mean, they're not really going directly into it for an extended period of time, but we'll see if that causes any more issues for these drivers. Green flag back in the air. Schaefer Garrison. Rossi and Levine elected to come down pit road right there. They have about 10 lap fresher tires than most of the field here. A little bit of door bang right there from Shoemaker to Aaron K. These two still leaning on each other. That's Jose Gonzalez as well, right there in the mix. Trying to lean tight on that door and almost goes around. Able to hang on to it though. Justin Day up there, way up against that outside wall, may have made a little bit of contact. He's going to get pushed a little bit further back. He's now back to 9th position. We saw him as high as 4th position there on that restart. Not quite sure if there's an issue on Justin Day. Either way, he is going backwards and going back quickly. With under 50 laps to go, we won't need to pit for fuel, but if we do get a caution, it'll be interesting to see what these drivers decide to do with their tire strategy. I think some of these drivers have at least one more set left in the pit. And we've seen a lot of different strategy all over the board so far tonight. There hasn't really been one specific strategy that has worked out quite yet. It's kind of been whatever works at that time, and if we go green till the end, we'll have to see if those different strategies work out. Justin Levine in 3rd place is the current highest driver with a little bit fresher tires. That's about 12 lap difference between him and Derek Garrison, and then him and Schaefer as well. So 12 laps might not seem like a lot, but at certain tracks and under certain conditions, especially at a short track like this, it can make a real big difference, especially in the longer runs. And I kind of like Levine and Kazi also on the same strategy as Levine. You know, you don't want to stay on cycle with Schaefer. You want to be able to try and figure out something a little bit different that would get you offset. Because what we've seen on the Schaefer tonight has been kind of what we're seeing right now, just staying on front, kind of pull away, maybe lose the lead here and there, but not really, hasn't really had any pressure under green. So if this thing does in fact go green, we'll see if those tires work out for Levine, and see if those tires can help him catch up to Schaefer. Benfield Bosket going back for this 14th position. Bosket has it, Benfield wants it. And honestly, Jim Bosket really just wanting to finish out this race without any more damage. Oh, and that was a little bit of a nudge right there. As soon as they said that, he's not had the luck so far tonight. Back up front though, Levine slowly closing this gap down on Schaefer. Levine trying to find a little clean air. Good run off of 4 right there. He'll dive to the inside in 1 and 2. See if he can clear up. Schaefer trying to give him a run, but it's not going to be enough. Levine now is going to take the race lead away as Kazi is going to move himself into 3rd and now try and hunt down Schaefer for the 2nd position. If you're Schaefer, what really is your mindset at this point? You know you don't have the tire advantage. You know that if this thing does go green, you're going to need to be able to find some sort of long run speed and try and make those tires hold on. But you also don't want the beam to pull away too far and too quick. You want to be able to kind of maintain the gap and not let it get too far ahead, but Levine making it a little bit tougher for Schaefer right now. Levine's been setting some pretty quick laps these past couple of laps and hasn't really given Schaefer much of an option to work with. As I say that, looks like there's possible connection issues for Schaefer. So Rick Schaefer not being scored right now. He's got some connectivity issues
And this could really hurt his night. And I'm not quite sure if he'll disconnect or if it'll sort itself out, but right now his quality looks to be going down. So more issues for some of these drivers. Reed Schaefer being the latest victim, not of his doing though. And that's going to move him into second position. Still waiting to see if Schaefer is going to have those issues resolved or not. It does show Schaefer in the pits currently. He is 2 laps down. So, unfortunately for Schaefer, I think his night and his chances at winning it are pretty much over. And Joseph Kazi 2 seconds back behind the race leader of Justin Levine. Remember, he is also on the same strategy as Levine, although he had to fight a little bit harder to get through the field there. Not quite sure if he used up those tires a bit harder than Levine did, or if it's just possibly him just kind of setting some relatively like consistent speed, but like also not trying to push his truck too much. Either way though, with 25 laps to go, he's gonna have to close up this lead, and he doesn't have much time to do it. It does look like Schaefer was able to get back out on track. Again though, he is currently 3 laps down, scored in the 17th position. So his night has more than likely come to an end with 22 laps to go. And heartbreak for Schaefer, I know. It was going to be an interesting kind of end of the finish, see if maybe Schaefer could keep up and see what he could do, but it's just, you know, internet issues are never the best thing and always so frustrating to have happen. I had internet issues earlier with the first race of the night I did, and you know, there's nothing you can do about it, but it does definitely suck when it happens, and knowing that it's really out of your control. With 20 laps to go, 19 as we cross the start-finish line. We're gonna go ahead and take a quick break, so you guys won't miss anything. We'll be side by side the whole way.
Our time. We know what we gotta do. Stay in the fight. Between the walls.
Time to turn the intensity up.
Fight to the end, no matter what happens. Good day to be in victory lane.
Green flag is in the air.
Driving with conviction. Side by side, hammer down.
The after-checks are lit. Don't count out anybody. Who wants it the most?
We are eyes on the leader now.
He is driving his guts out. Wheel to wheels, they come to the line. Victory, this will be.
Nobody wants it more than you.
Next flag is going to end it.
Does he have enough? A dominant performance.
You gotta stay down, baby. Let's go.
Can you believe what you are seeing? Everybody pushing as hard as they can in one final shot.
Gotta earn this thing. Right here to the end.
It is all on the table.
A total 500.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head to head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. I didn't realize the stream had no audio. That's awkward. But a late race charge from Kazi. We'll be able to hear from Joseph Kazi. Joseph Kazi collecting his 4th win on the season. And I guess we didn't have audio for those last couple laps. That makes it a little bit awkward. But we got the most important part here in just a second, which is going to be speaking with you, Joseph Kazi. Like I said, 4th win on the season. I'm sorry, my voice is starting to go away a little bit. You had to use... Yeah, and you talk about Levine being one of the best one of the better drivers out there, and definitely looked like with 25 to go, you had a lot on your plate in front of you, and then you slowly and quickly, actually I say slowly, you quickly kind of closed that gap down and had to use the bumper there a bit to get around him, but you made it stick and were able to pull away there so he didn't return any favors to you. What really was the determining factor on your strategy tonight, and what really led the difference between you and maybe Schaefer or Justin Levine himself, who was also, I believe, on the same strategy as you? Yeah, and you were able to make up the time needed when it really counted there at the end. And 4 wins on this season, that's got to be a statement so far. And I know we're just a few races away from going into the playoffs, but the most wins of any driver so far this season. And really, at this point, you would definitely probably have to be one of the championship favorites. I know Levine is right there behind you with 3 wins, but we're just, I think we're 2 races away at Watkins Glen and Charlotte before we go into the playoffs. And what really does this momentum carry at this point in time right before the playoffs?
Daddy track racing, little bumps there, but I didn't wreck them. We, me and Justin are teammates and everything, but we'll rub each other, as hard as we can. He threw it back at me big time in the 3, but he overshot it and it just bumped me forward, and I was able to keep on going and progress my way forward and win this thing.
And you know what? That's what Kazi loves to do, is win. And it's always so fun to be able to speak with you at the end of these races. And I want to keep talking to you some more, but I also got to get through some more interviews. I'm trying to save my voice.
I want to quit talking. I'm fucking
But before I let you go, is there any sponsors you'd like to give, or any sponsors you'd like to thank, or any shout-outs you'd like to give?
Shout out to Justin. Shout out to everybody that showed up. Man, what a great short track race we had. Shout out to broadcast. Shout out to Jordan for making this freaking be like Biff paint, and freaking, we basically, what we did for Cletus, we did rods out for the Biff, and that's what we did. We showed up and showed out.
And the Biff would definitely love to go do exactly what you're doing, and that's go out there, give it 100% and win. Joseph Kazi, thank you for taking a minute to speak with us, and hopefully we'll be speaking to you again at Watkins Glen.
Yes, sir. Hopefully so. as one of my good tracks. So we'll hopefully make it back to back.
Alrighty, thank you, Jakazi. That is your race winner, Joseph Kazi. Again, I apologize for a few audio issues there. I'm not quite sure what exactly happened. Looks like we just had to enable the imports quick, so apologies for that. I think they should all be fixed now, but we're going to go ahead and get Justin Levine in here. Second place driver, Justin Levine, almost had it. It looked to be going so good, and then once Kazi caught you, it was kind of game on for there. Was there any doubt in your mind that if you're able to get back to him, you might have given him a little bit more love back?
Oh, for sure. You saw me trying. I sent it in as hard as I could without wrecking him. I always want to give him the beans, but I never want to dump him for it. But I don't know what I did wrong. When I started catching lap traffic, the truck just got tighter and tighter, and I think I burnt off the right front. We were comparing our tire wear there before getting interviewed, and Kazi had 79% right front, and I had 71, so that was definitely a big difference there. He was able to cut the center real well and run me down there.
Yeah, and you talk about a difference with the tire wear, and this is one of those unique kind of races. We had a start time of, I think it was about 4 something a.m. when we took the green flag, and we're finishing at about, what is it? I think about 7. I think it finished about 7:30 around there. Did that really play any difference into how the truck handled and how the like runs kind of played out, or was it kind of normal, like from a normal evening to night transition?
To me, it definitely helped me tremendously. At night, I felt like I was a couple of steps behind Reese and Kazi, especially in the start of the run, before I ended up getting wrecked there. But as the daytime started to roll, or the sun come up for morning, the track got a little slick. You definitely had to manage the tires a little bit better. That's where I always succeed. I love driving a loose race car, race truck, whatever. And it helped me tremendously. As you can see, I went from like mid-pack, and I was able to pick everybody off. I felt like I was one of the only trucks besides Kazi and Reese to go from back to front and keep on chugging. Like nobody else was really able to do that tonight.
And you mentioned getting involved in a wreck there with Jordan Berry earlier in this race. Kind of set you back through the field, but able to make it up to finish second, almost getting the win. Thoughts on next week at Watkins Glen? Or I guess, yeah, it would be next week.
Yeah. Love Watkins Glen, one of my favorite road courses. I don't know the last time I ran the truck there, so I definitely need a couple refresher course laps there. But that's what practice is for, right? But looking forward to another up front finish, hopefully.
Alrighty, Justin Levine, thank you for taking the time to speak with us. Is there any shout outs you'd like to give, or any sponsors you'd like to thank?
Always. Shout out to you. Again, amazing job you do all by yourself. Love going back, watching the broadcast. I think you do such a great job. Bryce and all the admins for putting this on, and whatnot, and Team Conti for being on the truck, and of course all the viewers for tuning in.
Alrighty, Justin Levine, thank you again for taking a minute to speak with us, and we'll see you again next week at Watkins Glen.
Sounds good. Have a good night.
Justin Levine finishing out second. We'll go ahead and take a look at that here. I mean, it was Kazi caught him pretty quick, and we heard from him just once lap traffic kind of came into play, the handling on that 19 truck just went away. And watching through here, Levine trying to be defensive, but also not put himself in too bad of a position, and Kazi just a little bit quicker. Gave him a little bit of a nudge there going to 1 and 2, sent him up the track, and that was pretty much the race winning move. He was able to go down in 3 and 4, and again, not really using too much store there, but just enough to send him out the groove. And once he went into 1 and 2, it was pretty much his win at that point. I wouldn't necessarily guarantee his win right there, but a lot better shape. Justin Levine, talking about how he tried to give the bumper back, just not able to make it work right there. And again, I apologize for the audio issues for those last couple of laps, but it was a heck of an effort from both those drivers. Kazi making up those lost couple of tenths, just about a second with 25 laps to go, and able to make it count when he needed to. We'll go ahead quick here and look at our finishing results. Joseph Kazi again with the win over Justin Levine. Derek Garrison in third place. And then Jose Gonzalez, one of the newest drivers. We talked about him. He was running fourth, and he's going to be able to finish fourth. So a great night from him. And then we go on to fifth place, Austin Edstrom, Reese Hamilton, Bryce Shoemaker, Max Kost, Caleb Weekly, Aaron Kay. Those are your top 10 drivers. Then we go and round out the field with Stoney Benfield, Ron Hollyfield, Justin Day, Jim Foskett. All those 4 drivers that I just mentioned all had some sort of unfortunate issue at one point or another in this race. And I think that actually goes for a lot of the field, but those 4 seem to have had the worst luck tonight. And then Brian Wortman, Keith Shoemaker, Reese Schaefer. Again, Reese Schaefer with those connection issues, finishing 4 laps down. Then Jason Miz, Jordan Berry rounding out the field. We'll go ahead and look at our Hard Charger Award. And that's going to go to none other than Reese Hamilton. So Reese Hamilton, excuse me as I try and get some voice left in me. Reese Hamilton gets the Hard Charger Award. Hard Charger Award presented by Rasp by JB. Went from 17th to 6th to finish 6th there at the very end. So 11th positions gained. Fastest lap, 22.297 seconds around this track. Top speed, I guess his speed was 108.7 miles an hour that lap. And again, shout out to Rasp by JB for all they do for this series and allowing us to present the Hard Charger Award at the end of each one of these races. They do custom goalie mask designs and also do custom paint schemes for iRacing cars. So make sure you stop and talk to them if you want an iRacing wrap. Had some very lovely laps again. Joseph Kazi gave shout out to them for his paint scheme, for running that Greg Biffle tribute scheme. Very lovely truck, and unfortunate what happened with him, but continues to live on in this day and will not be forgotten. As we go on to our next thing that we'll look at, we'll go over the race schedule. Again, just about half of this season has already been completed. Crazy to think about that. Just wrapping up here from Lucas Oil Indianapolis Raceway Park. Then we head to Watkins Glen International next week. Again, that is a road course, and I think that is that's going to be a good track for these drivers. It was originally scheduled to be Mexico City, but after some feedback and talking to Drivers Council and drivers, it was announced that they would be switched to Watkins Glen. So that'll be it next week. And then we'll head to our season finale at Charlotte Motor Speedway, Sunday, February 22nd. So a whole lot of fun tracks. Well, I say a whole lot. 2 more fun tracks coming up before we begin our playoffs, which means there is 2 more opportunities to lock yourself into the playoffs. And
I know the cutoff line is not crazy stacked, especially with the repeat winners that we've had these past couple of weeks, but there will still be some playoff drivers that we'll have to watch here in the next few weeks and see who makes it into the playoffs. Again, those will kick off at Iowa Speedway March 1st, and then we'll have 3 rounds, which will decide who moves on, and then that'll also decide our season champion at Homestead Miami Speedway. That'll be Sunday, May 5th. So, pretty fun next couple of weeks in this series. And going on to Watkins Glen, you know, obviously it being a road course, we're definitely going to see our road course ringers more than likely come out. They're going to be able to put on one heck of a show for us. Watkins Glen is definitely one of the most fun tracks, in my opinion. I always love going and racing that track. It really gives you a lot of opportunity to have fun, and you got to definitely be careful in certain parts of that track, but it's also one of the best road courses, and probably, in my opinion, the best road course out on the NASCAR schedule. So, with that, we're going to go ahead and wrap things up here from Lucas Oil Indianapolis Raceway Park. Again, congrats to Joseph Kazi on getting his 4th win of the season. We'll see you guys back here next week, live from Watkins Glen International, in what should be a fun and fantastic race. Until next time, thank you guys for tuning in. We'll see you guys next week.